Dear Sangha, we're going to enjoy 3 sounds of the bell from our bell master, Sister Samadhi, Sister Concentration. Yeah, and she is originally English. I don't know what she is now. Global sister. Yeah. So, dear friends, as we said before, this continues to be a happy moment, a great happiness to see so many children here. They bring a lovely energy of innocence and freshness to us all. And also very happy to see so many of you here. Many of you I have seen before, and some of you I am seeing for the first time. In both cases, it's a happy moment. And it's a happy moment because we can sit together and we can water the seeds of everything that is in our store consciousness, and we want to grow into beautiful flowers. And we know that we have a few days for these seeds to sprout and to flower. And there will be easy moments, delightful moments, and there will also probably be difficult moments. But we're ready for everything because we have the Sangha to support us. That is the most beautiful thing, the most happy thing, that we are here as a Sangha. I don't know if you are all familiar with the word Sangha. It's a Sanskrit word, and it just means a community. And that community can last for a long time, or for the people who make it up can be together for a long time or for a shorter time. But as long as they're practicing together, going as a river together, they're a Sangha. So we will make a Sangha for these next few days, and we will flow together like a river and support each other and make the practice easy. It's not easy if you go home and you say, every day I will practice sitting meditation for an hour, but it may be difficult on your own. But here you can practice sitting meditation for half an hour with the support of the Sangha every day, and it will be easy. So the Sangha is a great blessing. In the past, maybe 100 years ago or less than 100 years ago, we really wanted to do things on our own. We thought that everybody has to try for themselves and do the best themselves. But now we know that there's only one way, and that is to do it together. And our teacher Thai sometimes says that the next Buddha will be a Sangha. It will not be an individual, because each of us have qualities and talents that the others may not have, and we can put them all together and go forward in a beautiful direction together. And all of us here, I think there's one thing that we probably all want to do. We want to take care of Mother Earth. We want Mother Earth to continue to be a beautiful green and blue planet for as long as possible. So together we can do that with our practice of mindfulness. If we are mindful of what we are consuming, we will consume less. We will need to take less from Mother Earth. So this retreat is an opportunity for us to sharpen our mindfulness, to make our mindfulness deeper and longer lasting. And there are many ways in which we can exercise our practice of mindfulness during this retreat. And the first one we want to talk about is our mindful breathing. All of us are sitting here and all of us are breathing. That is also a happy moment and something good to know. It means we are all alive and we could all be enjoying the miracle of life if we want to. Just by feeling your breathing and knowing you're alive, you can say, oh, what a miracle. I'm participating in the miracle of life. But some of us may be breathing and not enjoying our breathing. So now is our opportunity. Breathing in, I feel my in-breath. And breathing out, I feel my out-breath. If you like, you can close your eyes, feeling my in-breath and feeling my out-breath. And what I like to do is to feel my breath in my abdomen. Of course, my abdomen does not exactly breathe. We would say that my lungs breathe. But when my lungs breathe, it pushes down the diaphragm. When my lungs breathe in, the diaphragm goes down and the abdomen goes out. And when I breathe out, the diaphragm goes up and my abdomen goes in, so that my abdomen moves with my breathing. So if you like, you can put your hand on your abdomen, and breathing in, you feel your abdomen rise, and breathing out, you feel your abdomen fall. Abdomen rising, abdomen falling. And when you come back to your abdomen, you come out of your head and you don't have to think. You can just breathe without thinking. And breathing is for you feel your breath. You don't have to think about your breath. And breathing is for your enjoyment. It's wonderful to be able to breathe. In Christianity, we talk about the breath as the comforter. Do we feel comfort when we breathe? The breath as the helper. So breathing in, I enjoy my in-breath. Breathing out, I enjoy breathing out. In, out. And the wonderful thing is that our breath is always with us. Wherever we go, our breath is there. So that whatever situation we find ourselves in, we can always come back to our breathing. If you hear something that is not very pleasant to hear, then you can just stop and you can breathe. And your breath is like a bridge. It's a bridge between your body and your mind. When you are aware of your breath, that involves your mind. And your breathing comes from your lungs, is your body. So the breath is the way to bring your body and your mind back together. Sometimes we sit in front of the computer or we sit in front of the television screen and we forget that we have a body because our mind is so involved in what is happening on the computer screen. We forget we have a body, and maybe our body is not in a very good or comfortable position. But we don't really realize that because we're so busy in our mind with what we are doing on the computer. So you really need on your computer to have a reminder to breathe. And when you breathe, your body will say, "Oh, I'm so happy that you've come back." That means I'm so happy that the mind has come back to me. Because the mind and the body, they really belong together. They don't belong in two different places. And they feel happy when they can be together. So during this retreat, we have a chance that we don't talk so much. We try and practice what we call the noble silence from different times in the day. And what that means is we get plenty of opportunity to breathe, to be aware of our breathing. Because when you talk, it's not so easy to be aware of your breathing. I'm trying to do that now when I tell you to breathe mindfully, but it's much easier if I'm not talking. So the reason why we have this time of silence is so that we can really come back to ourselves and unite our body and mind again with the means of our breathing. So we practice the noble silence in the evening. After this session, we will practice noble silence. And some of you have to go and pick up your children. You cannot really suddenly start practicing noble silence when you pick up your children from the children's program. But you need to say some words to your children to put them to bed. But we try and do so as little words as possible and also as softly as possible so that we don't disturb others. And those of us who don't pick up our children, we can enjoy the silence, not talking to anyone. And when we practice the noble silence, we will be aware of two things. One is we can be aware of our breathing. And if we are thinking about things, we can also be aware of our thinking. And you might think, my goodness, I'm thinking so much. I don't usually think so much. But the reason why you feel you're thinking so much is because you usually do think a lot, but you're not aware of it. So don't worry if you're thinking. Just notice the thinking. And the thing we want to do on this retreat is to slow down. And you can slow down the thinking. You can notice one thought, and then you can let that thought finish before you notice the next thought and let that finish. And to slow down the thinking is already very peaceful. It makes the thinking more peaceful and calming. So don't expect that you will stop thinking straight away. And gradually slowing down the thinking, it will sooner or later stop. It's like if you slow down your walking, if you're running and you slow down, you eventually will stop. So the noble silence is a wonderful opportunity to notice what is happening in our mind, what our mind is doing, going in thousands of directions. It doesn't matter, but it's important to know what's happening. Usually we don't like our mind going in 1,000 directions, so we turn on the television, or we pick up the telephone, or we turn on the computer in order to help our mind go in one direction. And that one direction is the television or the computer. Now on this retreat we don't have those things, so we just have to come back and take care of our mind and recognize what's happening in our mind. And that is mindfulness of the mind. So now we listen to a sound of the bell. So the noble silence is the delicious time for us to be able to come back and take care of ourselves. And we will begin this evening, as I said, and we will continue until after breakfast tomorrow morning. And the early morning is also a very beautiful time. We can listen to the birds singing, we can listen to the wind in the trees, and we can enjoy every step on our way to the meditation hall in silence. And that can also be very healing. Silence is healing for us. It heals us because we can come back to ourselves and take care of ourselves. We take care not only of our mind, but also of our body. We can recognize what is happening in our body, and when we recognize what's happening in our body, we automatically start to take care of what's happening in our body. So we say that the silence can heal. Another time when we practice noble silence is when we are eating. So our breakfast will be wholly in silence, and so will our lunch. And there's a reason for this. And the reason is we want to really be in touch with the food that we are eating. And if we talk when we're eating, we usually eat what we're talking about, and we don't really eat the food. We have a very interesting conversation, and it occupies our mind so that we're not really aware of what we are putting in our mouth. So the noble silence is an opportunity for us to be grateful for the food we have and see how wonderful the food is. But that's only 50% of it. The other 50% is to be grateful for the people we are eating with and to be aware of the people who are sitting there with us. So how can we be aware of each other when we're not speaking? You may think that when we're having a conversation with someone, we're really aware of that person. But often we're not really aware of that person. We're more thinking about what am I going to say in reply to what they're saying, or what is my reaction to what they're saying. We're not really there for that person just because we're talking. But anyway, we will be practicing eating in silence. So to begin with, usually in France, before we begin to eat, everyone wishes everybody else bon appétit. In England, I don't know what we wish each other. Maybe we don't, but we can start now to wish each other something in silence. And that means that before you eat, you look at the people who are sitting next to you. You look at the person on your left, you look at the person on your right, and you can wish them bon appétit in silence with a bow and a smile. And from time to time in the meal you remember who's on your left, who's on your right, and you feel the energy of being together. Sometimes we think that talking to each other is the best way of communicating. But you know, looking at each other is also a very good way of communicating. It's say that the eyes are the window to our soul. So when you look at, in fact, the eyes are part of your brain. So when you look at somebody, you don't just see their soul, you also see their brain. Huh? So when you look at someone, you can look with the eyes of love. And then the person has received the eyes of love from the other person. And that is a very deep communication which doesn't need to have words. And of course the smile is also a communication that doesn't need words. Remember that when you smile, you don't just smile for another person, you need to smile to yourself. You need to smile to yourself often. Not just when you do silly things that make you laugh, but even when you don't feel too good, you should smile to yourself. Because the smile sends a message to your brain, which says, it's okay. There's nothing to worry about. If you look very serious, then also a message goes to your brain. Maybe something's going wrong. Maybe I should be worrying about something. So these messages go from the nerves in your facial muscles to your brain. So you can practice mouth yoga, and that means smiling for yourself. And that gives you a good message which will make your life happier. So it's quite correct to say it's not just by being happy that we smile, but it's by smiling that we can be happy. The smile can lead the way. When I started to practice mindfulness, I realized what a miracle the food I eat is. The carrot is a real miracle. I visualize it in the garden with the leaves and the rain falling on the earth of the garden and the sunshine on the leaves and all the air what the leaves breathe in order for the carrot to grow sweet and fat for me to eat. And I visualize my sister chopping the carrot for me to eat. Many things I see have gone into this miracle, the carrot. So before I put it in my mouth, I want to say to it, hello carrot. So that will remind me that when it's in my mouth that I'm eating a carrot. I'm not eating my plan for tomorrow. I'm not eating my regret about yesterday. I'm just going to eat carrot. And I can notice the carrot in my mouth, and in it there is the cloud which I'm eating, which nourished it, and I'm also eating the sunshine. And all these things are nourishing me. And I hope that they're nourishing something positive in me. I don't want them to nourish my grumpiness, my irritation. I want them to nourish my compassion, my loving kindness. So that is part of my meditation when I'm eating. Before I start a meal, I think, oh, this wonderful food somebody's cooked for me. I hope that it will nourish, I want it to nourish something beautiful in me. So we all have a radio in our head. It's called a radio station in our head. It's called NST, which stands for non-stop thinking station. And we turn off the television to have a meal. We turn off the radio to have a meal. And we also try and turn off NST station. And I think the best way to do that is to chew and to remind ourselves to feel gratitude for what we are eating, to remind ourselves to be aware of where what we eat comes from, and to remind ourselves of things like, when I eat this, my mother is eating it, my father is eating it. Maybe they never ate tofu, but now my mother and father who continue in me, they get a chance to eat tofu. So by giving my attention to these things, I don't have to carry on the non-stop thinking as I eat. So we choose very many times. Our food is certainly slow food. We chew it maybe 30 or 50 times until it becomes liquid, and then it's much easier for us to digest. So we don't have to hurry up, we have plenty of time to eat. And that time of chewing can also be, is also a time of meditation. If you like, you can, in the beginning, you can count how many times you chew. Or if you know some of the poems, like in, out, deep, slow, you can use those words as you are chewing. There's a very nice practice that we can do that is called the first 4 mouthfuls. With the first mouthful, I practice loving kindness. That means I wish, I hope for someone to be joyful today. I wish that I can bring joy to one person today. So you remind yourself, excuse me, you remind yourself of that person, who that person is that you want to bring joy to today. And the whole time that you chew 30 times or 50 times, you visualize that person being joyful and you bringing joy to that person. And the second mouthful is for compassion. I want to relieve that person's suffering today. So you visualize that person and you you visualize that person being relieved of their of their suffering. And the third mouthful is to feel joy. You have many things to feel joy about, and you have eyes that can see, but you have food that you have good vegetarian food. Is also a thing to be joyful about, but you have the practice. You have the Sangha, and so you offer yourself joy. You allow yourself to feel joy. Sometimes we don't allow ourselves to be joyful. We think we don't have the right to have joy. But the world needs us to be joyful, so we have maybe even a responsibility to feel joy. We can allow ourselves to feel joy. And the last thing, the fourth mouthful, is to practice equanimity or inclusiveness. That means we don't just want to love people who are lovable. We want to love those who are difficult to love. So with this mouthful, we include in our love those we find a little bit difficult, and we send love to them. So that is the practice of the first 4 mouthfuls. Of course, we practice all our mouthfuls, but after that you may like to practice meditating on where your food comes from, or your ancestors eating with you. Another time when we practice silence throughout the day is whenever we hear a bell. We want to stop everything when we hear a bell. And there are 3 kinds of actions. There are actions of the body, actions of speech, and actions of mind. So we want to stop all these actions. So whenever we hear the bell, if we're walking, we just stop where we are. And if we are speaking, we stop our conversation, and the third one, most important, we stop our thinking. So the bell is an opportunity for us to stop. It's a wonderful gift given to us by our teacher, that whenever we hear the bell, we can stop everything, and coming back to ourselves, coming back to our true home, is like a little enlightenment. We become a Buddha for maybe not a part-time Buddha, for a short time. When we hear the sound of the bell, we can do that. But sometimes we don't have a bell nearby, and so we don't get that opportunity. So there are replacements for the bell. You can use your creativity to find them. But one replacement we use is the telephone. Whenever we hear a telephone ring, we also stop everything. We don't pick up the telephone straight away. When we hear somebody else's telephone, it's also an opportunity for us to stop, come back to our true home. And when you're in your true home and you answer the telephone, you will be a very good telephone bodhisattva. Usually we're a bit nervous when we answer the telephone. We don't know who it is, what they're going to say. But if we followed our breathing before we answer it, we will be calm and in a position to help the person on the other end of the line. Another time when we practice stopping and silence is when we walk. We don't walk and talk together, because if we're talking while we're walking, we're not really there in every step. We don't really arrive in every step. And the walking meditation is the most wonderful practice that can help us to be happy, to arrive, not to worry, not to regret. But if we're talking, we don't get the chance to practice the walking. Every day we walk quite a lot. Some of us now have an app or something that can tell us how much we walk every day. It's true? Yeah, I don't have one, but if you do, you know how much you walk every day. And it might be more than you ever imagined that you did. So from that we know that every step can be an opportunity for us to be happy, for us to be peaceful, and it's a very precious opportunity. We don't want to lose it, and if we're talking, we lose it. So if you want to have a conversation, you're going with somebody, and you see a beautiful bird, and you want to say, let's stop and look at this bird, then you stop and look at the bird and talk about the bird. And then when you've finished your conversation, you walk again. A bit further on, you want to talk about something else, you stop again. And sometimes my sisters say, oh, you take so long to arrive. I said, yes, because a person I was walking with, they were talking. So I had to keep stopping. So the Master Linchi said that walking on the earth is the real miracle. Normally people say if you can walk in the air or you can walk in fire, that is a real miracle. But Master Linchi said no, walking on the earth is the miracle. Because we do it every day, we don't think it's a miracle. But if you stop and think about it a bit, it is a miracle that you can walk. So when you were a baby, you had to learn to walk. And now you may be a baby meditator and you have to walk as a meditator. So the thing to do is to come back to the awareness of the contact between your feet and the ground underneath. This will ground you, help you feel more rooted. So then after that, you're following your breathing. I'm breathing out now. In, out, out, in, out. Actually, my in-breath is a little bit shorter than my out-breath. So maybe I should do more steps when I breathe out. And 2 steps when I breathe in, and 3 steps when I breathe out. Because that suits my lungs. Your lungs are different, something different may suit your lungs. The reason why my breath and my steps need to go together is because my breath will help to keep me in my body. The awareness of the breath is what keeps the body and the mind together. So when I'm walking, I don't want my mind to wander off. So I follow my breathing. And then I recognize, oh, in-breath is 2 steps. Out-breath, 3. So one time Thai said to me, this is your challenge. Every step can bring happiness. So I thought that I don't know if that's true. And sometimes when I have difficult moments, then I practice walking. But I walk very slowly. In, out, in, out. And I recognize, if I concentrate completely on my step, I don't think about anything else, then the happiness has a chance to be there. If when I walk I think about my difficulty, what's going wrong, there's no way the happiness can be there. But if I don't think about that, I just allow myself to walk, then I can be happy. At least I can be peaceful. Because sometimes difficulty in your mind is like a fan. You turn the fan off, but the difficulty keeps going on even though you're not feeling it. So sometimes you don't feel happy straight away. But at least you feel peaceful. And there are many things that can help you be there in every step. And one is to use the words of a little poem, which I think now we're going to sing together. I have arrived, I am home. Because when we walk, we can say, arrive, arrive. And we really arrive there. We don't have anywhere to go. Home, home, home. Oh, I realize my home is in my heart. It's not somewhere outside of me. My home is available right here. Here and now is my address. And then I begin to feel more solid. I begin to feel more free, free from my worries, free from my regret. And if I'm lucky, I will touch no birth and no death. Happens from time to time. In the ultimate, I dwell. I have arrived. I am home in the here and in the now. I have arrived. I am home in the here and in So this is a very good poem to use when you're walking, to keep you in the present moment. And another thing you can do when you walk is to walk for someone. You can walk for Thai. Thai is Thich Nhat Hanh, our teacher, who cannot walk now because of a stroke. You can walk for your father, your mother, your loved ones. You can just, as you walk, you can imagine that they are there, walking in you and with you. You can say their name, and I am here for you. David, as you breathe in, I'm here. And this is a way of sending good energy to the one you are walking for. Or you can say, Thai, I walk for you. Thai. So I don't know how many steps we will take during this retreat, but each step is an opportunity for us to come back to our true home in the present moment. And each step is an opportunity to take care of Mother Earth. The way we walk on the earth is the way we take care of the earth. Our feet can kiss the earth, massage the earth, and help us to see how wonderful the earth is. And the earth is not just matter, the earth is also spirit. So when you walk on the earth, you recognize that you're not just walking on matter, you're also walking on spirit. The earth isn't just under your feet, the earth is all around you and in you also. So tomorrow morning at 6:30, or maybe earlier than that, we shall come here and practice sitting meditation together. So please give yourself plenty of time to arrive. It said wake up at 6 o'clock and be in the sitting by 6:30. If you can do it, I think that's quite... Well, I can't anyway. Take me longer than that. So I need a good 10 or 15 minutes to get here. And then I need to clean my teeth, I need to wash my face, I need to put on my clothes and other things. So give yourself plenty of time, otherwise you'll find it's difficult to practice mindfulness. You have to practice, I don't know what to call it. Anyway, practice hurrying up, which is difficult to be mindful. So it's part of the practice of mindfulness is to know how much time you need to get somewhere or to be somewhere. And once to get to somewhere easily and mindfully. So I know how long it takes me to get here mindfully, on time. So we say 6:30 the sitting meditation starts, but actually if you come, everybody arrived at 6:30, you can imagine it would be a bit chaotic. everybody trying to squash in the door at 6:30. So it's not a good idea to leave it get here till 6:30. It's better to try and be here at 6:20 or at the latest 6:25. So this is cutting our time even more short. Anyway, the thing is, get here relaxed, peaceful, and your peaceful energy will be a contribution for everyone else in the room. And people who are already sitting in the room will be breathing peacefully. So when you walk into the room, you will feel that energy. And you can join in that energy straight away. So we sit like this in the... This is how we will sit tomorrow, Angie? Yeah, fine. So we don't need to change the setup at all, but there's plenty of room down here. If anybody feels that now they're sitting on a chair, but tomorrow morning they want to sit on the floor, they can put themselves down here. So sitting is not hard work. It's not to achieve some kind of goal like enlightenment, or what else can you achieve by sitting? I don't know. Sitting is for your peace and joy in the present moment. So please don't feel you have to make a big effort to do something. Remember what a privilege it is to be able to sit and do nothing. Did you ever have someone tell you, don't just sit there, do something? Well, now we tell you the opposite. Don't just do something, sit there. So that is a privilege, to be able to sit and do nothing. Just enjoy your breathing, the fact that you are alive, and to help your mind not to wander off, and to give you something you can meditate on when you go back after the retreat. You will receive a guided meditation. So when you arrive, the guided meditation hasn't started, so you can just enjoy your breathing. And then you will hear some words of guidance. Don't try and think about them. Just let them go into you, to penetrate you. And if they have some effect, and you can follow them, it's good. If you can't, don't worry. Just let them go. The guided meditation is not meant to go into your head. It's more like go into your heart. You should feel something in the guided meditation rather than think about something. So there's no work to do. Like breathing in, I feel peaceful. Breathing out, I smile. Peaceful, smile. So you may think, oh, I don't feel peaceful, huh? And then you remember, oh, in the past there have been times when I felt so peaceful. So that seed of peace is in me. It's not someone outside of me. And I know, I have confidence that I can touch that seed of peace in me, like I did in the past. So guided meditation is like that. When you sit in such a way that you are awake and that you don't make yourself too uncomfortable. So if you like, you can sit like I'm sitting now. You need to find the cushion that is the right height for you, which I have done after a couple of experience. That is the problem, really. We need some experience to find the right cushion. I had to sit on a cushion for an hour or so, and then I recognized it's the wrong cushion for me. because my leg was numb. But now I found the right one. I sit on this for an hour and I don't get numb leg anymore. So we do need to find our right cushions, quite important. And then if we want, we can cross our legs and put our one foot up on our other thigh, or if you can't do that, you put between your thigh and your calf, like that. Or if you can't do that, you put it on the floor. Yeah, like that. And both knees should be on the ground, because if your knees are like this, then it puts a lot of weight on your spine. It's not good for your spine. It will be uncomfortable. So your knees should be on the ground. And that is the kind of one way. But then there's another way, which is the kneeling position. And you can use your cushion or your bench to sit on. And you put your 2 feet under the bench so that you're kneeling, or on the side of the cushion. And then both knees are on the ground. So that is also a good way to sit. And you experiment and find which way is best for you. Once you are sitting, make sure your spine is as straight as it can be, and that your chin is a little bit tucked in so that your head isn't pushed back. Your pelvis is a little bit forward to help keep your spine straight. Your 2 arms are close to the side of your body, also to help keep your spine straight. And with your hands, you can hold them like this if you like, but you don't have to, in your lap. Or you can put your hands on your knees, or you can go like this and put your hands. Whatever you feel contributes to the peaceful energy in your body, you can do that with your hands. And your eyes, in the beginning you may not be able to close them straight away, you don't feel ready. But as you become more peaceful, your eyes can close quite naturally. If during your meditation you start seeing strange things, or you start feeling sleepy, you should open your eyes. Don't allow your imagination to carry you away with strange images. Open your eyes straight away. And if you're sleepy, you shouldn't. You close your eyes, you fall asleep. If you're sleepy in the meditation, it may be you're very tired. Some of us, when we come on retreat, we're quite tired. We've been working very hard, and we had to make quite a bit of effort to get here today. The journey may have been tiring, so we're quite tired. We should really recognize that and allow ourselves to be tired, and rest when we want to rest. Don't push yourself and force yourself so that at the end of the retreat you feel more tired. That would be a shame, because a retreat is for you to get more energy, not feel more tired. So allow yourself the rest that you need to have. So I'm keeping you here late, aren't I? I'm not allowing you to rest. What have I forgotten? Anything important? I think your children may be tired too, so you probably want to go and pick them up. So, dear friends, we will listen to a sound of the bell, and then we'll have a sound of the small bell, which means that you can massage your feet, and those of us who have children can stand up and go and pick up our children from the children's program. So is that clear? We hear the sound of the bell, then the sound of the small bell to massage. Okay. So, dear friends, those of us who are sitting on the floor can uncross our legs. Those of us who have children can stand up, and please enjoy your walking meditation. Please go slowly and mindfully and silently to where the children's program is. Arrive, arrive, home, home, home. Here, here, now, now, now. More solid, more solid, more solid. More free. Do you have a microphone down there? Good. So now those of us who remain behind are going to practice a short guided meditation by Sister Samadhi. Please enjoy your sitting.
So dear friends, sit beautifully, and we will listen to one sound of the bell to come back to ourselves, and then just a short 10-minute and then we will have a short 10-minute guided meditation. Breathing in, I am aware that I am breathing in. Breathing out, I am aware that I am breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, and I follow the whole length of my in-breath from the beginning to the end. And breathing out, I follow the whole length of my out-breath, the beginning right through to the end. Following the in-breath, following the out-breath. Breathing in, I become aware of my body. And breathing out, I notice the sensations in my body. Aware of body, aware of sensations. Breathing in, I notice tensions in my body. And breathing out, I allow those tensions to dissolve. Noticing tension, letting go. Breathing in, I feel joy practicing with the whole Sangha around me. And breathing out, I smile. Joy practicing with the Sangha, smiling. Breathing in, I am alive in this present moment. Breathing out, I know this is a wonderful moment. So dear friends, we can start to massage our feet and unfold our legs. And the next sound of the small bell, we will stand up and bow to each other and then turn to the beautiful flowers and bow to our flowers as well. Thank you. And we would just like to remind you that from now on, we have now entered into the period of noble silence, and we also remind you to practice walking meditation back to your room and to enjoy the peace of the evening and allowing the day to come to an end in a peaceful way.